I'm Nick. I'm Jun.
And I'm Eric, and we're here to discuss Sustainable Development Goal number 14, Life Below Water. We're here to discuss Sustainable Development Goal 14, Life Below Water, from the United Nations Development Program. According to the Foundation's website, water covers 75% of the Earth, accounting for 99% of Earth's living space by volume. It also contains over 200,000 unidentified species, while there may be even millions. As much as 40% of the ocean is heavily affected by pollution, depleted fisheries, loss of coastal habitats, and other human activities. The ocean absorbs about 30% of carbon dioxide produced by humans, buffering the impacts of global warming. Why should we act now? More than 3 billion people depend on marine and coastal biodiversity for their livelihoods. Also, the market value of marine and coastal resources and industries is estimated at $3 trillion per year, about 5% of global GDP. I learned more about carbon dioxide and how it is affecting our oceans today. What you may not know is that 1/3 of carbon dioxide is in Earth's atmosphere, and it is absorbed into the oceans, according to the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency of the United States. With the help of the EPA, I was able to get a better understanding of what happens with carbon dioxide when it enters the ocean. First, I needed to understand the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle is a process by which carbon transfers between its many forms in our ecosystem. It can be in plants, animals, the atmosphere, and it is also stored underground as fossil fuels, oil, natural gases, and of course, like I said, in the oceans. The problem would not be so complex if the cycle was working in an even flow between changes that carbon goes through in these different forms. The problem is, humans are disrupting this process, and this is harming our oceans and environment as a whole. Such activities, including fossil fuel usage, is among one of the greatest problems. Humans are using carbon resources faster than they are being replenished into the earth, and faster than the cycle allows the carbon to be transferred, which in turn releases more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere that cannot be absorbed. The result, more is absorbed into the ocean. This will and is inducing climate change. The effect on oceans is it is making them more acidic in this process. As carbonic gases are absorbed into Earth's oceans, this makes them become more and more acidic. When acidity rises, this affects organisms in our oceans. Marine life that uses carbonate from the water to build shells and skeletons find it less abundant and available because of the rise of acidity in oceans. And this is due to more carbonic gases being absorbed in the ocean too quickly. Fossil fuel burning and other factors will also impact plant life in the oceans when acidity rises, killing them while they aid in the carbon cycle. Overall, according to what I've discovered about carbon and the carbon cycle, and carbon dioxide in oceans and in the atmosphere from the EPA, it is drastically changing our oceanic environment for the worse because of these human impacts. If not changed, we will continue to cause greater damage to our oceans. And now, June will discuss how plastics are affecting our oceans today.
Plastic is a substance we use for everything, whether it be as bottles, bags, cups, or straws. But what happens to these plastic materials once they're used? Some gets recycled up, but up to 86% of the plastic packaging that is produced globally is not recyclable, according to McKinsey and Company. Plastic that does not get recycled can go anywhere, but much of it ends up in our oceans. Every year, almost 13 million tons of plastic is dumped into the oceans and affects many aspects of aquatic life, such as coral reef systems. Coral reefs are the nurseries of the ocean and support the lives of countless aquatic organisms. They cover over 150,000 kilometers of shorelines in 100 countries and helps to protect coasts from heavy storm surges, winds, and waves. Despite how they look, coral reefs are living beings that, just like any other, can also catch diseases. And when plastic materials come into contact with coral reefs, the likelihood of them catching diseases goes up from 4% to 90%. Coral reefs serve an integral role in maintaining the health of aquatic ecosystems, and so it is important for us to properly address the issue of plastic in our oceans. The issue of plastic within our ocean is one that continues to evolve, with the more recent concern of microplastic. Microplastic are pieces of plastic less than 5 millimeters in length and originate from larger pieces of plastic that breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces. Microbeads are a subcategory of microplastics, which are tiny pieces of manufactured polyethylene plastic used in health and beauty products. It can be found in certain cleansers and even toothpaste. These tiny particles easily pass through water filtration systems and end up in ocean and other smaller bodies of water, which poses a threat to all aquatic life. The United Nations Environment Program found that the plastic microbeads first appeared about 50 years ago, and as recently as 2012, this issue was still relatively unknown. With an abundance of products containing plastic microbeads on the market, and not a lot of awareness on the parts of consumers, microbeads and microplastic in general are becoming an increasingly more prominent issue protecting our oceans. But the right steps are being taken toward mitigating the issue of plastic within our oceans by individual and group work, such as the work done by Gregoria Cruz. Gregoria Cruz lives in Peru and works for Reciclica Vida, an association of recyclers mostly made up of women. This association collects about 400 kilograms of waste every day, but more importantly, they are popularizing the culture of recycling in their city. Individual action alone will not fix the problem of plastic pollution in our oceans, and it will take collaborative work by governments, businesses, and all sectors that work with plastic to support sustainable alternatives. Next, we'll have Nick talk about the issues of overfishing.
For my portion of Life Below Water, I will be touching on how harmful overfishing can affect the environment and can have rippling effects. Fishing is the main contributor to the decline in ocean wildlife population. While fishing isn't a big issue, it becomes problematic when fishermen catch fish faster than they can supply and replenish themselves. Overfishing has emptied Europe's seas to the point that, according to the European Commission, 88% of our fish stocks are overexploited. Of these, 69% are at risk of collapse. Also, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, 1/3 of the world's assessed fisheries are currently pushed beyond their biological limits. Overfishing is also closely related to bycatch, which is when unwanted species are caught while trying to fish for a target species. Discards of bycatch can reach 90% of the total weight of the catch in some fisheries. In total, more than 3,000 tons of fish are discarded every day. This contributes to the needless loss of billions of fish and hundreds of thousands of sea turtles and other marine mammals. The main cause of overfishing can be attributed to illegal fishing, which can be 30% of the catch or more for high-value species. Some experts estimate illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing nets criminals up to $36.4 billion each year. Subsidies or support provided to the fishing industry to offset the costs of doing business are also an issue that contribute to overfishing. The reason that subsidies are so harmful is that they lead to overcapacity of fishing vessels and skewing of production costs so that fishing operations continue when they would otherwise not make economic sense. The United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development has called for an end to harmful subsidies. The impacts that these causes have on the ecosystem is that they can be extremely degrading. Specifically, it can change the size of fish remaining, as well as how they reproduce and the speed at which they mature. When too many fish are taken out of the ocean, it creates an imbalance that can erode the food web and lead to a loss of other important marine life, including vulnerable species such as sea turtles and corals. As well as their environment being broken down, there has been a decline in certain species. The decline of key fish populations such as bluefin tuna and Grand Banks cod, as well as other impacts to other marine life. This has caused some species to be endangered and protected, while some, such as the Eastern Pacific leatherback turtle and the Maui dolphin, are on the brink of extinction. Some of the ways that this issue can be combated some of the ways that illegal fishing, overfishing can be combated is ending illegal fishing, addressing fishing subsidies, and creating and expanding marine protected areas.
We hope that you learn more about life below water and that you consider changing so that the environment can be saved and that oceans can be saved for the better of our society.